That whole perfect hero idea a lot of people cling to, it might be holding you back. And yeah, chances are you've fallen for it too. Because in the mental movie everyone makes about their own life, you usually come out as the good one, the well-intentioned person, the reasonable one, the one who just wants to do the right thing. It's comforting, helps you sleep at night. Comfort, though, isn't the same as truth. If you enjoyed this kind of straight, unfiltered reflection, hit like and subscribe. This channel keeps things honest, no sugarcoating. Since childhood, we've been fed the same script. Pure hero, evil villain, clear line between the two. Cartoons, movies, books, all reinforcing that model. Then we grow up still seeing life like a simple board game. Whatever I do has a good reason. Mistakes belong to someone else, and my intentions somehow clean up the mess. Real life doesn't play along for long. Even characters who seem flawless start showing rough edges. Take Finn from Adventure Time. Early on, he looks like the classic brave kid saving everyone. Later, more layers show up. Ego, impulsive decisions, questionable behavior. Not hero quirks, actual flaws. There are episodes where he basically treats people's lives like toys just because he can. Others where he drags everyone into chaos for personal reasons. That's not romantic heroism, that's immaturity, ego. The most uncomfortable moments come when the hero mask cracks completely. When he manipulates emotions and insecurities just to satisfy his own curiosity or desire. No noble cause here, just impulse, very human, which is exactly why it hits hard. Then comes the classic move, apologizing like it's a reset button, as if saying sorry should automatically fix everything. When it doesn't, confusion kicks in. That happens outside fiction all the time. Think about it. How often have you messed up at work, in a relationship, with a friend, and leaned on, but I meant well? Good intentions become a shield against real accountability. That main character mindset keeps people emotionally stuck. As long as you see yourself as the automatic hero, admitting flaws gets harder. Not every mistake is a dramatic plot twist in your personal journey. Sometimes it's just a mistake. And here's the part most people resist. Growing up isn't about slaying dragons. It's about recognizing when you might be the dragon in the room. The real journey starts when the comforting stories stop and you face your own mess without the heroic filter. Also, there is this quiet belief many people carry. If you do everything right, life will treat you right back. Like a video game. Clear the level, get the reward. Reality doesn't follow that system. Sometimes a hit comes out of nowhere, hard and confusing, with no explanation and no warning. Trauma isn't a dramatic chapter with a neat lesson at the end. It's disruption. It's when what felt stable suddenly isn't, and you are left figuring out what's still standing. No instant wisdom, no automatic growth. Sometimes just anger, confusion, and that unsettling feeling that things don't make sense anymore. Finn's story in Adventure Time shows that shift clearly when he finally meets the father he idealized for years. Instead of closure, he finds abandonment, selfishness, and real loss. That's where the fantasy collapses. No cinematic resolution, just reality. And that popular motivational line, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Not always. Sometimes it just leaves you drained, guarded, or emotionally scattered for a while. Finn doesn't respond with calm enlightenment. He gets angry, craves revenge, reacts impulsively. Messy, exaggerated, human. When revenge turns out empty, which it often does, another common reaction shows up: emotional shutdown. Going numb to avoid more pain. Not pretty, but very common. Then come the attempts to fill the gap: distraction, validation, excess. In his case, shallow connections trying to spark some feeling again. Outside fiction, it can look like overworking, impulsive spending, random relationships, constant busyness. The less glamorous reality is this: pain doesn't make you special, it just makes you human. Growth usually isn't about bouncing back perfectly. It's about continuing to live even when things feel unresolved. Sometimes there is no return to who you used to be. There's adaptation instead, living with scars, absence, changes in perspective. No inspirational soundtrack attached. Just maturity building slowly, unevenly, in real time. You also have to know that not everyone wants or is able to change. There is a habit that quietly drains a lot of people, trying to manage other people's lives. You look at a friend, a partner, a relative, and think, if they just followed my advice, everything would fall into place. Then comes the usual cycle: talking, insisting, pushing, sometimes arguing, all under the banner of helping. Most of the time, what you get back is frustration, exhaustion, and the feeling you are trying to move something that won't budge. The mistake usually starts with expectations. Some people genuinely struggle to change right now. Emotional limits, mental health issues, past trauma, life circumstances. Not everything gets fixed with good advice or strong willpower. The Ice King in Adventure Time captures this well. Beneath the chaos, there's Simon Petrikov, someone who once was kind and grounded but lost himself to something bigger that he could control. That's not pure malice, that's condition. Marceline's relationship with him shows how complicated this can be. She remembered who he was. There's anger, sadness, nostalgia. The urge to bring the old person back. Eventually, she realizes something difficult. You can't rescue someone against their reality. Sometimes what's possible is patience, emotional boundaries, and a different kind of affection shaped by acceptance. That's mature empathy, not romanticizing, not forcing. And there's the tougher category: people who could change but choose not to. Finn's dad, Martin, fits here. It's not incapacity, it's avoidance. Responsibility requires effort, and he consistently picks escape instead. When you keep hoping for transformation that never comes, disappointment stacks up fast. Many people spend years waiting for an apology, recognition, or some dramatic turnaround. Each unmet expectation adds weight. Finn's growth isn't about fixing his father or earning approval. It comes when he accepts. This is who he is. Not bitterness, clarity. Letting go of the imaginary version. In real life, that means learning two hard skills: telling the difference between someone who needs support and someone who refuses accountability, and protecting your own energy in the process. Not everyone deserves unlimited emotional investment. That isn't coldness, it's self-preservation. Carrying someone else's unresolved chaos, especially without reciprocity, usually pulls you down too. Sometimes the healthiest move isn't saving, convincing, or insisting. It's just adjusting distance, respecting reality, and moving forward without that extra weight. It won't fix their life, but it protects yours. There is also a type of person everyone relies on but rarely fully sees. The one who organizes things, anticipates problems, keeps everything running. In friend groups, families, workplaces, there's usually that dependable figure. Might be you, the steady one, the adult in the room. Sounds admirable, but feels heavy. Because the more you lean into that role, the easier it is to blur the line between responsibility and control. From the outside, it looks like competence. From the inside, it often feels like constant pressure. Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time embodies this perfectly. Brilliant scientist, strategic leader, caretaker of an entire kingdom. On the surface, total capability. Underneath, things get complicated. To maintain stability, she starts crossing ethical lines. Surveillance, manipulation, extreme decisions justified as for the greater good. Always framed as responsibility. Responsibility can become a convenient cover, a way to avoid trusting others, delegating, or showing vulnerability. The tighter the grip on order, the further emotional distance tends to grow. Relationships suffer, connection weakens. You see similar patterns outside fiction. People staying constantly busy solving everyone else's problems, rarely pausing long enough to check their own exhaustion. Packed schedules, endless obligations, always being needed. It gets praise, which makes it harder to question. But busyness can be avoidance. When everything stops, fatigue shows up. Loneliness too, sometimes fear. Responsibility can turn into a socially approved addiction. Productive on the surface, costly underneath. Emotional distance, difficulty asking for help, chronic tension. For Princess Bubblegum, cracks appear when control slips away. The armor finally loosens and vulnerability shows up, admitting exhaustion, acknowledging limits. Something she postponed for a long time. Back in real life, being reliable and capable is valuable. Trouble starts when that becomes your only identity, when you believe you are worthy mainly because you are useful. Being needed isn't the same as being loved. Sometimes courage isn't taking on more, it's stepping back, sharing the load, admitting you were stretched thin. Because having everything perfectly organized loses meaning if you end up isolated inside your own efficiency. Furthermore, you have to know that the past doesn't leave, it just gets quieter. Everyone carries a story. Some people hold lighter memories, others drag heavier experiences behind them, and then there are those whose past never really feels past. Not dramatic all the time, but always present somehow. It can show up as sarcasm, emotional distance, a casual whatever attitude, or a constant need to keep things surface level. Marceline is a strong example of this. On the outside, she looks effortless, confident, stylish, independent, emotionally untouchable. But once you look deeper, it's clear that image is armor built over years of loss, abandonment, and experience too intense to just shrug off. She lived through an apocalypse, watched important people disappear or change beyond recognition, dealt with a complicated family history, and carries the weight of immortality, which basically means seeing bonds form and fade again and again. Trust doesn't come easily after that, so the defense mechanism kicks in. Create distance before anyone else can. Sarcasm becomes a shield, detachment becomes strategy, humor becomes emotional buffering. It works short term, less exposure, less immediate pain, but it also limits genuine closeness. You see versions of this everywhere. Some people bury themselves in work, others joke about everything. Some keep relationships permanently shallow. It looks like protection. Often it turns into isolation. Walls protect, but they also trap. Marceline's development isn't about erasing her past or pretending it didn't shape her. It's about learning to live with it without letting it dictate every choice. That includes allowing support, letting people in gradually, and realizing vulnerability doesn't automatically equal weakness. And here's the key point. Forgetting the past usually isn't an option. Changing how you relate to it is. When your history stops being a permanent burden of fixed identity, space opens for something new. That doesn't mean instant transformation. It means slowly lowering defenses, testing trust, accepting that emotional risk is part of real connection. Not quick, not neat, but usually better than living permanently guarded. There is a quiet idea many people hold. One day you will finally figure yourself out, reach a stable, finished version of who you are. Polished, settled, consistent. Then life gets easier. Nice concept. Nice concept. Reality doesn't really cooperate. There isn't a final version. There is movement. One of the recurring messages in Adventure Time captured this well. Things remain, yet they change. Memories stay. Relationships leave marks. Experiences stick around, but their meaning shifts over time, and you shift with them. Fighting that usually creates more tension than accepting it. Look at the characters again. Finn tries to hold onto the image of the flawless hero and realizes he can't live inside it forever. Princess Bubblegum clings to control and nearly loses emotional connection because of it. Marceline holds onto her detached persona and ends up boxed in by her own defenses. Each of them learns that resisting change isn't strength, it's attachment. Change isn't comfortable because it forces you to release certainty, even limiting certainty. Labels feel safe. The responsible one, the funny one, the unlucky one, the strong one. But when the identity freezes around these labels, life shrinks to match them. And it's not just about you. People around you are changing too. Relationships last when there's room for evolution. Marceline and Princess Bubblegum only reconnect once both accept who they've become, not who they used to be. Real connection isn't nostalgia, it's presence. So here's the grounded takeaway. That final, fully found version of yourself might be more myth than destination. Life tends to be ongoing adjustment. Sometimes chaotic, sometimes beautiful, often unpredictable. Accepting that doesn't solve everything, but it removes a lot of unnecessary pressure. Instead of fighting inevitable change, you start working with it. Maybe that's the most realistic stance. Less obsession with becoming something fixed, more openness to the process itself. Things rearrange over time, sometimes smoothly, sometimes not. Either way, it's still life unfolding,